Today I finished Sekiro for the first time. A game that I thought that I will never play. Now after finishing it and reading online, because I didn't want to spoil things for myself, I read there are other endings and even another area, which I plan to do after that. But for sure I'm going to take a break for a few days and then I'm going to come back to this game again. So in this video I'm going to show you my fight and I'm going to share with you my little story why I decided not to play this game for such a long time. Now, as far as I can see myself, I'm like below average Souls player. I'm pretty bad at these games and this is why I decided not to play them for such a long time, which Elden Ring was actually my first Souls game. But Elden Ring gave me the confidence that, maybe I can. And eventually, of course, I finished it, even did several playthroughs. Nonetheless, people told me that this is the hardest From Software game, so I was really scared of this game, especially considering that I'm really bad playing Souls games. But it took me 6 days to complete it. Now I made saves just in case I need to. I never use them, but when I read there are another area, another boss, I told myself, all right, maybe I'm going to load the save. Maybe I'm going to start a new game plus. I haven't decided just yet. Now the thing with Sekiro, it's so much different. I mean, coming from other Souls games, it's so much different because it's based on lots of deflection, basically parrying attack. The good news is that you have relatively big window for deflection because again, this is the core mechanics of the game. So I told myself, it's not going to be enjoyable. There's no RPG elements, no stats, no lots of weapons in this stuff. I'm probably going to get bored. Oh my god, I was wrong. The combat itself, the mechanics are so satisfying, it's just beyond belief. Once you get used to the rhythm of the game, the fight, the repetition of the attacks of the enemies, and you execute it perfectly, it's just the best feeling ever. Now, of course, there are randomness in the way they actually approach in certain attacks. You need to get ready. If you stay close, there are ways for enemies to punish you if you get far as well. So the developer play with it, so it won't be very, predictable. But it's amazing that even if you don't do well, just by sheer repetition, you're going to do well better next time. You're going to feel comfortable even without knowing why. It's just that you get used to the fight, the pace of the fight, and by the time you get in, you'll be able to just do so well, and you ask yourself, well, how did I get there? It's amazing. Without actually learning all the moves, like trying to learn all the moves, it just kind of embed in your brain with just playing and making mistakes. So I need to train it, and by the time I actually did several times, I kind of like a big window appear, like everything appear in slow motion because I couldn't understand even the smallest animations. Before that, I didn't even pay attention to it or just saw it, but it was too late. And just by repeating it over and over, I was able to pay attention to the little things. It's kind of weird, but that's how it worked. Now, is this game hard? Well, hard is relative. What I can tell you that if you're not used to the mechanics, it takes time to get used to. Especially at the beginning, I kind of felt like, what's happening? But once you get used to it, it's amazing how accessible this game is. The thing you need to understand, there's no help here, there's no mimic, or there's no some very crazy weapons that you can find that can make you super OP, or some elements that you discover that make the bosses much easier, or maybe stacking up consumables that make you one-shot bosses. I don't know, maybe there's some cheeses, I haven't cheesed anything. Or you can level up like crazy. I mean, maybe there are ways, I haven't discovered anything like that. But you get good by just replaying bosses again and again. You're going to feel that you get better even without thinking about it. You can use item that allows you to get deeper into the fight. It won't replace skill, but it allows you to get deeper just to learn. Because sometimes, for example, in this particular fight, which I didn't even knew that this is like a final encounter, I thought that maybe, there's more after that. But basically, you can find items that allow you to get deeper into the fight. This is important, so it allows you to learn the fight, because this particular fight, for example, has 3 stages. And if you want to learn the 3rd stage, and you need to start from the beginning, if you die, and go for the first one, the second one, and then try to fill it again. You can watch tutorials, which I haven't, but you can, or watch your own gameplay, by the way, to learn. It's something that you can do. Whatever you choose, just remember, you're going to get better by just trying the fight again and again. So if you're not among those first tryers, in quotation, just know, and if you're like me, just so you know, you're going to get better by just playing it, even without being good and remembering all the moves. It will come naturally and organically by just replaying the fights. Now, regarding items, I can tell you that they're not a major thing in this game, unlike Elden Ring, for example. You can even ignore them completely. You can do so much personal damage by just blocking, and if you focus on that, and based on my experience, there's always a way to actually dodge and avoid getting hit in certain attacks. There's always something you can do, you just need to figure it out. For example, in the 3rd stage of this boss, the 2nd stage of this boss, I discovered when he does this crazy attack, I can actually just triple jump. I can just one jump to avoid fire damage, delayed a bit, jump after. I didn't was consistent in that, but because I finished the boss even before trying this strategy. But you can jump again on top of his head and then get out of danger when he does this kind of flurry attack. This is his last attack of his combo. And it's amazing if a game forces you to get good, you eventually get good. If there are shortcuts, usually maybe some players prefer taking the shortcut, and that's actually prevent them from actually getting good because they always search for the shortcut. But because this game forces you from the beginning to just do well with what you have, and based on my experience, there are not really things that can really make it easier for you, but just you need to get better. Eventually, you get better, basically. And there's also a psychological barrier for if you play this game and you get good at it, that other games that won't actually hold your hand, like Elden Ring did, with many things that can actually make the combat much easier, it can be more accessible to you once you be able to beat this game. So because of that, relatively this game is harder, but it's not like as hard as people led me to believe it is. What led me to just not even consider playing it. Because I thought this is just beyond my capability of playing, because I know myself, I'm not good at these games. But I realized something about myself, which is something great that this game brought me, that I can believe in myself. I can be good at a game which I first thought that there's no chance I can be good at. And nothing will replace, remember, nothing will replace your experience with the game. So for those who are like me, I'm not talking about first tryers in quotation, those who are like me, are not good at these games, and afraid of playing these games, don't. You're gonna miss such an amazing experience. The only downside for me was actually the farming, because I need to get certain items and I need to farm from them, and the grind for getting that and getting more currencies was crazy. Some items are so rare, I actually need to read about because I didn't know how to get it. But again, it was just farming and trying to get these items. I didn't like this part. So there are ways if you want to get... The thing is that there are things that requires lots of, basically repeating, eliminating enemies, using certain items to get rare items, but you don't have to have them, really. You can actually do better if you just ignore everything and just focus on finding ways to dodge certain attacks. It will make the combat more fun for you because you can feel more confident rather than relying on certain items. The items are good to help you get deeper into the fight, to learn stages where if you can discourage by just replaying again and again to get deeper into the fight in order to learn. Or if you're like me, you don't want to watch guides or anything, you just want to see how you adapt to the fight. But again, there are guides out there that can help you out for sure. If you're having trouble, it's up to you to decide whether to want to see them or not. Or you can actually watch your own gameplay and see, see for yourself what you actually did bad, and then try to understand from that. But again, I'm going to say nothing beats just replaying things. You're going to feel much more confident. And even here, by the time I actually, learn the moves, I felt confident at the first stage and second stage, the first stage against Emma and the first stage against this fight to do so good that I actually can finish it if I'm concentrating enough without actually getting hit. Although consistency wasn't something that I was good at when it comes to these games. So bottom line is this game is so much different as a Souls game compared to any other Souls game that I play. And that's a good thing because I really felt that I'm playing another game different. Not just different from a Souls game perspective, but different than any other games that I played before because I wasn't into these Soul play games in the first place. But I was into playing a Souls game. So an amazing experience, and don't miss this game out, I'm telling you. I'm coming from a player who was really not good at this game, but got better, much better, and actually crossed a psychological barrier that I had that led me to just keep this game for so many years. That's how afraid I was of this game that I didn't even consider playing it. Now it's time for, I have saves that I did. I told myself maybe I'm going to replay certain bosses, but then after I finished it, I read there are some, another area and more bosses and other mini bosses that I missed. So definitely going to go back and challenge myself against those. Going to be a great experience as well to get back into the game. Probably later on I'm going to do a New Game Plus, but probably I'm going to replay a saves game that I haven't touched right now. I just kept them because I told myself maybe I want to replay certain bosses that, this is a great option to have this available after I finish the game. Thanks for watching.